I have a big topic today. I think something that so many of us can relate to. We're all looking for more peace in life. We're all looking for a fulfilled life. Life is short and we want to maximize every minute of it. So regardless of your age, work situation, whatever you're dealing with in life, hopefully this can help you. And I want to talk about how to declutter all the stuff in our head so that we can deal with more things, focus on more things, prioritize the important things, move things along so that they're out of our system so that we can deal with the next round of stuff that comes up in life. And I've got some very specific 4 steps that I utilize that I think work really well. I'm really interested to hear also what you guys think of these 4, and if you have more or different things that you like to incorporate in your life that we can all learn from. So I'm going to kind of go through this step by step, and I hope that my kids are watching this because I think the earlier we address these kinds of things, the easier and better life we'll all have. At the end of this video, I'm also going to share some things that, tips and tricks that I do every day to decompress, to calm down, to allow myself to really focus on addressing things that I need to on a day-to-day basis. One of them involves ketchup, and I think it's a fascinating thing. So if you're interested in my little ketchup story, wait to the end and I'll share that. Before I get to this first one, I think it's important just to reiterate that what we're trying to do is improve our quality of life, make things more efficient, bring more peace to our life and more fulfillment, and be able to get a more specific result earlier and a more permanent result. So this first one that I'm going to do is, one, it is slow down and get it out of our head. When everything remains in our head, at least for me, I can't deal with it. It was a spaghetti bowl of thoughts. I need to get things out of my head so that I can prioritize and start going through things. I do that in a couple of different ways. I like lists. I keep a list on my phone as a digital version so that it shows up on my computer and my phone when I am out and about and that's all I have. I can just, if it pops in here, boom, I can get it down on the list. So now it's not rattling around and I'm trying to remember it later. I also keep a paper list, a little notebook that is just a list in my office on my desk with a little box next to it so that I can check it off when it's done. But I like having that list there that's not digital because then it's always on my desk. I can see them right there and it is at hand. And when something pops into my head, I can drop it on that list. I move some of the things off my phone list, which doesn't end up being very big because I only add things there when I'm not around my paper list. I move things over to the paper list from there. Another way that I get things out of my head is to actually talk to myself, to verbalize. I have about an hour commute one way to work each day. So in the morning, I'm oftentimes thinking through my day. I'm processing my morning and my midday and my afternoon. I'm starting to assemble things in my own head. A lot of times I start talking out loud. Talking out loud and hearing myself talk about an issue or talk about this thing I'm challenged with helps me process it and narrow it down. On the way home, I'm doing that as well to try to put my work day behind me. So I'm processing a little bit on what happened, why it happened, what I feel or think about it, and then start preparing a little bit for the next day. I also am thinking a little bit about when I get home, what do I have to do at home? Or what do I really want to talk about with my family? Or what's important? What do I not want to miss or forget? So I'm starting to prepare for that. So then when I walk through the door at home, I truly have my workday kind of behind me for the most part. And then I can be present and I can be clear when I'm home. Okay, the second one for me is to refine down the issue or the to-do. So one benefit to removing out of your head and putting it on a list is that you're not going to write a whole story as a list. You're going to refine that down to a few words. So right away, you're already starting to simplify it. And I think that's what's important, is to get to the heart of the issue, to the problem, to the thing that needs to be done, is to refine it down into what it is. And that's true even if it's something like you had a difficult interaction with a coworker or something with your family at home. Try to really narrow that down into what the actual problem or the actual issue is that you need to address. And by writing it down, I think it helps you do that and force it down to the core. As a quick little example for step 1 and step 2, when you go on vacation, I don't know if you're like me, but when I go on vacation, I'm amazed at how much work I get done and how efficient and results driven I am just before that trip. And when I'm on vacation, I can calm down and I can relax and I can truly be present and in the moment for that trip. And I think that's because I utilize these steps in a more intense way just before vacation. I know that I have to get things done before we leave, which means I'm listing out more accurately everything that needs to be done, the steps, what the outcome or result needs to be. I am more hyper-focused on getting right to the core issue and not hemming and hawing and thinking it through and trying to come up with excuses or what ifs. I'm just going right after it to tackle it so that I can cross it off my list. I think that shows that I am just so focused for vacation time. And therefore, on that trip, I am at more of a peaceful state. I am more calm. I am more focused on family or focused on the activities that we're doing. And if we can have more of that throughout the year, regardless of whether we're on vacation or not, all the better. The third step. The third step is solving or completing your to-dos. If it's a task or to-do, you want to complete it and be able to check it off the list. If it's more of an issue that needs conversation, something that is interactive with other people, you want to get to some kind of solution, some kind of resolution. And you have to know, what does that mean? What does solved mean? So verbalize it, talk about it, write it down. Solved in this issue means this. Then you have to work towards attaining that. I think also it's important to know the why behind every issue or to-do that you have. Why am I doing this? Why do I have to have this complete? Or why does this outcome have to happen? Because then you know what solved looks like. So I would really be thinking about not just completing mundane tasks or to-dos, but also, why are you doing this? Is there next level refinement that can happen so that you can have an even better result? The fourth step is, in one word, balance. But what I mean by that is, when you have a balanced life, you're probably going to have a fulfilling life, a peaceful life, a rewarding life, a life that progresses, where you grow. And I think part of that is going to allow you to be more present with others. So now you're making a bigger impact, not just for you, but for others around you. Balance to me comes from feeling like I'm highly effective at work and I can make an impact there. I'm highly effective at home and can make an impact with the ones that I love the most, as well as I know I'm taking care of me. So I need to not just declutter my mind, but I need to be taking care of myself. So hobbies and interests add to balance. If you need to, if you feel like I'm being overwhelmed by work, do some things that can take your mind out of it. For me, it's going to the gym, or it's some basic hobbies and basic interests that I have that I can focus my mind on, that is away from work or even away from relationships with family or friends. So then when I'm coming back to those issues or things that I need to do in my work life and family life, I'm more focused and I can handle those in a better state because I've been able to relax and enjoy the things that I love in life through hobbies. So Find a new hobby, find a new interest, something that you want to pursue or learn about. And that can take a little bit of your focus and allow you to be that much better in other areas of life. So I really like the idea of balance and being able to totally be a well-rounded individual. Okay, quick little summary here. Basically what we're talking about is taking everything that's here, getting it out of here, down onto paper in the most simplest, refined way possible, taking a positive approach, not focusing on the negative, slowing yourself down, understanding the why behind things, understanding what outcome you're actually looking for. What does that resemble? So that now it might change a little bit. In fact, it probably should, but at least you know what solved or what completed looks like. And to add balance to your life, because then I think each area of your life is going to be that much more fulfilled and you'll be more peaceful. Now, I mentioned earlier that I was going to talk about a few additional things that I do. So I'm going to run through kind of a list of things that I do daily that really help me just relax, calm down, and deal with everything in life. And then I'm going to finish with my ketchup story. One thing I do is I just come home and I kind of lay on the floor at times. I just lay on the floor, close my eyes, deep breaths in and out, and just calm myself down. A lot of times that just kind of clears the air a little bit. It's, for whatever reason, it's a little thing that helps me a lot. I actually like going to the gym as well, because when I'm at the gym, one, I'm getting physical energy and I'm focusing on what I'm doing at the gym more than I am what happened in my day or what's coming up later. Those thoughts do pop into my mind, but it's at a small little level. And sometimes I just get more clarity in the gym. I get people watching and I'm trying to beat my last rep or set or add a little more weight or something like that, and it just helps. I also focus on what I eat and how much I sleep. I just feel like if I'm eating a little better and I'm focused on that a little bit, it's another thing that I can focus on outside of the other stuff in life. And I feel good about that. And then getting sleep. If I'm lacking in sleep, I'm just crankier. I'm not able to focus as much. I can't handle the higher level stuff as well as I could have. So making sure that I get sleep at an appropriate level is pretty big for me. I also prioritize, and this is in my drive in the morning to work. I also prioritize, okay, what is the number one thing that I've got to make sure I nail today at work? What is the one thing that I for sure have to talk to my family about tonight when I get home? I want to make sure I don't miss that. Is there something with extended family or friends or something that I just have got to get on and do today so that it just doesn't kick the can down the road? I try to just prioritize that top one thing in those different segments of life. So I'm kind of compartmentalizing that. I also try to tell myself all the time, okay, slow down, take a deep breath, focus on the positive here, not the negative. Try not to be reactionary. Try to think of the thing that we're not thinking of properly and get some perspective that's a little bit different. That tends to help me. And then for me, I'm kind of a researcher by nature. And this is kind of my preface here for my ketchup story. As a researcher by nature, I'm just interested in random stuff. And sometimes something will pop into my head. I want to research it. And then I can focus on that for a little bit. And I'm not focused on the other things in life. So for instance, here a couple of days ago, I was just thinking about ketchup. Like, what is the deal with ketchup? When did that start? Now, we all know Heinz, but what's the deal with ketchup? It was a 5-minute little search. Not exhaustive. It's a 5-minute little mental break for me. It started as a fish sauce in China, 1,000 years ago. And it wasn't until the early 1800s that then it became tomato-based in the US. And then the Heinz family in the 1800s put it in a clear bottle, and that's when it really took off, is when it was in a clear bottle. So it's fascinating on one, how much I love ketchup. Not necessarily fascinating, but I love ketchup. But it's fascinating just how far back ketchup goes and how it started as not even remotely close to what it's known as today. And how that one family business has dominated things for literally 200 years because of a little move of not because of the product, but how the product was bottled. That's just fascinating to me. I'm sure that at some point I may use that little nugget as an example in life with somebody as the story of ketchup. Again, my reason for telling that is it's something that for 5 or 10 minutes I focused on that and nothing else. It just kind of cleared things for me. It's a little thing that helps me. I don't know if that helps you or not. If you have little things that you do, let me know. I would love for some great comments on this. And if you can thumb and sub, that's just gravy as well, and hugely appreciated. All right, take care and go have some ketchup.